I'm milling about with Casper Van Dien, starring in the second. Hi, Casper.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
You like my backdrop?
I do. That's awesome.
I'm like getting sick and tired of people looking into my bedroom, it's just not fun.
There you go.
Now tell me about your backdrop. You've got some cool things going on.
This is the an artwork of an artist, Ray Cooper, who did Paul Verhoeven's sci-fi trilogy. Starship Troopers, RoboCop, and Total Recall. So, and this is just somebody made a rendition of me as Tarzan and my wife as Wonder Woman, because I was Tarzan and she's played Wonder Woman before and things she's done. So they just drew us together in that. So I have those in my office, and it's just my desk.
I love it. It's a good one. So yeah, your wife, of course, is Jennifer Wenger, and she actually is in this movie, the second, with you.
She is.
So tell me how that came about.
Well, Brian Skiba, the director, he's a pal of mine, and I've worked with him before. And he goes, "Hey, look, I want you to come play, and I want your wife to come play, and my wife's gonna play." And so he just had a whole bunch of different people in it. And when he told me he had this role for me, he's like, "Look, this is a great role for you, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it." And I read it, and I was like, "This is awesome." So I was excited, but I didn't know how he was gonna get. He wanted to like make this 80s, 90s action movie with all this, really intense practical fights and actions, without the CGI and everything, like a throwback to the 80s and 90s action movies. And I didn't know how he was going to do it in this tight budget and this tight schedule, but he really nailed it, knocked it out of the park, I think.
So it was sort of a family affair because you knew Ryan for like 40 years, right? You guys met doing a soap opera together.
Yeah, I met him a long time ago, and so it was like a family affair. There's a lot of people I knew on this, and that was cool. I knew some of the stunt guys, and I know Richard Berge too. Richard Berge and I have worked together before, and then I directed him. And
Desperate Housewives, say no more.
There you go.
Huge crush on Richard Berge. Thank you. Along with you, of course. And also, I have to say, William Katt. Do you remember William Katt from Pippin?
I know William Katt. Yeah, he's great from Big Wednesday. And I mean, so many different things. Greatest American Hero. I mean, he just teases everything. So what a thrill to work with him. I was very excited.
So tell me about when you first met Ryan. Like, how did that all come about?
I think I was coming onto One Life to Live, and he was leaving. And I just met him in the hallway. I don't even know if he remembers this. Met him in the hallway on, I think it was the week before his last episode or something like that. And I was coming on. I only did a little bit of time on it. And it's funny because right after I left, then, it was just, he came on and I just briefly met him then, and we'd run in cross paths every once in a while. But it'd been years since I ran into him. So, yeah.
And who knew years later you'd be kicking his ass, right?
Yeah. Well, we had to do that fight sequence. It's good because he and I are both pretty physical, and we trained a lot before. So, and we had great stunt guys who coordinated that. I was able to go to the dojo for 9 nights and train with the stunt guys, the choreographed everything. So it's nice when you have that kind of time to go over something, because some films you don't. And some, if you were on a big one with like Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves, you'd have years to train, or or months at least. But we didn't have that luxury. But I did have 9 days that I could go in and choreograph the fight. And then we also would work on it while we were on set, in between takes and everything, and on breaks we'd go in and train with these guys a little bit. They'd show us and go over everything. So they were really, really hungry young guys, and Brian Skiba was just really well organized. So I don't think they would have been able to get that movie done otherwise, with how tight the budget was, how tight the shooting scenes were, and you just needed to have good people. And he did. He had the best. I loved him.
Well, I want to know, Casper, was there ever a moment where you thought, I think I hit him a little too hard?
No, I always wish I could have hit him a little bit harder.
But you never, I always hear nightmare stories about, oh, everything is great, the stunts were great, the stuntman knew what he was doing, and then somebody is bound to get hurt.
Yeah, well, my stunt double, Ryan Raspberry, different Ryan. There's a lot of Ryans on this one. He took a fall out of the second story, like on fire and everything like that. That was not me. I wasn't about to do anything like that, and I was super impressed. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." But you never know with these stunt guys because sometimes they go, "I'm fine," and they've really been hurt, and they don't say anything. But he did amazing, and I was super impressed. I was like, "Holy cow!" Just watching him come out, it just blew me away. I was really impressed. But yeah, people praise the stunt people a lot, but watching the fights and seeing what they look like in this, I was impressed. And I've been doing this 32 years, so that says a lot. And I was glad to be able to look, because sometimes there's been fight sequences where I go, I wish that the director or the stunt guy had gone over that with me a little bit better, because I don't like the way it looks. But this one, I was really pleased with how they made me look in the fights and how it came across. So.
Have you ever done a stunt in your storied career that didn't go well, where you
Yeah.
did get hurt?
Yeah. I chipped 2 teeth on the tanker bug in Starship Troopers, and I cracked 3 ribs on that one. Hurt my knees on that one. In Tarzan, I broke both my ankles, but I kept going. I didn't even stop. I didn't even know I really broke them. I knew something was wrong, but I just went to the doctor 3 years ago. So I've been running around on broken ankles for. Well, they weren't broken, they had healed, but he goes, your ankles, you shattered them on the bottom. And I had pieces all over, and I had a couple of my nerves and stuff like that. So I've had a couple things that have gone a little crazy. And then I had a helicopter took off once with me, and it wasn't supposed to, on a film I did in Romania, and it dislocated my shoulder because I went up in the air and I had a strap around me on the thing. And then I had the elephant charged me on Tarzan, and Tux hit me in here, and I had a huge welt and lifted me 4 feet up over his head and slammed me down, and got choked out by a python in that movie. I got bit by a chimpanzee on the chin, had to get stitches on that movie. I've cracked ribs on another movie. I've been hit in the head once in a fight sequence. I dislocated my back or disc in my back when I kicked somebody on another film with Brian Skiba. I didn't tell him though. But I've had a lot of injuries.
You're proud of your war wounds.
Hollow, my finger got mauled. It was like bent out of shape. I don't know if it was broken, but it was twisted around and all black and blue. And
on this film or some other one?
On Sleepy Hollow, one I did with Johnny Depp and Tim Burton. I was fighting Ray Park. And then I went through a window, a glass door, glass window for Garrett Warren, my stunt guy, and for 3 weeks I was picking glass out of my right butt cheek, because it just so yeah, you get things. I mean, the thing is, we're choreographing fights, and we're doing different stunts, and we're trying to make them look real. And in doing so, you're repeating actions, you're going over actions, you hit the ground, you hit it hard, you try to make it look real. And you're trying to do it so you're doing it so you don't get hurt. But I have iced myself so many times after fights, and I've come back walking like a really old man. And my kids was just, I've beaten myself up so bad doing fights. I've gotten cut and hurt, and yeah, it happens. But, it's for the glory of a film, and you're trying to make it look real. The disappointing thing is when you get hurt and the fight looks like junk.
Yeah, then it's not worth it.
You're like, man, you don't even know how sore I was after that one. And you're like, why? It looks terrible. But then there's other ones where it looks really good, and you're like, yeah, that pain was so worth it.
Wow.
But as I'm getting older, I keep going, I should let my stunt guys do more and more, because these guys they're much better than I could ever be at it. And, like that guy going out that window was amazing. And maybe 10 years ago, or maybe 15, I might have tried to do it. Might have tried to get it, and they wouldn't have let me, but I would have tried.
But you look great. You're not 50 yet, are you?
I'm 50, going to be 52 this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thank you.
Wow, you look great.
Oh, thank you.
I'm watching this film and I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, you look so much like Chris Isaac.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that's a nice compliment.
Has anybody ever told you that?
I think a long time ago somebody told me that, but I haven't gotten that in a long time. But yeah, I have gotten that before.
Can you sing? Because if they ever ask you to play him in a movie, there you go.
You know, oddly enough, I have sung in like 9 different things over the 32 years I've been doing this, and I probably should have sung in 0, but I did sing in 9 of them. So I don't know if I can necessarily sing. I wouldn't. There's a couple songs I can harmonize with, and a couple things I can do a little bit with, but I am not a singer. And I probably shouldn't have been paid to do it, but I was. So I can say I have been paid to sing at least 9 times.
Okay. Well, we can sing happy birthday at least, right?
Yeah, we always can sing happy birthday, but you got to pay for it if you do it on a movie.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Oh, I know, I know. Now that your character in this, he looks very official. He's wearing an earpiece. And I'm thinking to myself, did anybody ever joke, like send you little jokes over this earpiece? And, you know?
Nobody ever sent me a joke over the earpiece because they were just props.
Oh, they didn't really work.
No, it's just a string that was attached to my, you know, they had the little wire and they attached it to the back of the shirt. It was not even hooked up into anything. So they didn't work. So I never heard one joke over that earpiece. Now, people crack jokes on set all the time. Sometimes when it's your close up, they'll do something. So sometimes that happens, but in this case, not over the earpiece.
That would have been funny though, right? All of a sudden you're like,
would have been fun to film. When you go over to England and you try to, when I went over to London, I shot Sleepy Hollow. I'm working with Michael Gambon, Miranda Richardson, Johnny Depp, all these great English actors that we're working with over there. And I was wondering how, because I like to joke around, I like to have fun and everything like that. But I was nervous that maybe when I got over there, they would, I'm working with serious, real actors, real, stage actors, BAFTA winners, incredible Tony, all these, they win everything. They win every award. And it's not just because their accent, it's because they're super trained and talented and gifted. And they're real serious actors, but they joke around more than any American ever could. So they're brilliant. And they would have had fun with an earpiece making jokes. They try to make you crack up during your close up when they're off camera. So, which is, sometimes would be seen as being really just, you're being horrible, but it's fun. Sometimes it brings more energy into a scene.
Have you ever had a practical joke played on you before that worked?
Well, I had in Sleepy Hollow, Michael Gambon, we're in the scene and the close-up is, I gotta go over to me here. The close-up is on me and it's pulling back like this. Tim Burton yells action, it's pulling back and there's a body down on the ground and I have to say my line and you're pulling back, you're revealing more of it. And as he yells action, so we're rolling in the action, I'm about to say my line and the body without the head on the ground farted. And I could see in my peripheral vision that Michael Gambon had his hand in his pocket and he was like, because he had put a fart machine in there and he had this big fart go off while on my take. I was able to do it without doing it. But I mean, it just, you have a scene there and they're not going to put the fart noise in it, but it did fart for me. So
I hope you got him back.
He's not one you want to get back because he just keeps going. He's a brilliant actor, and just a wonderful sense of humor and just a lovely man to work with.
You've worked with some amazing people. What a career you've had.
Thank
Unbelievable.
You. I've had a lot of fun.
Are you going to write a book someday?
I got to do the forward to a Tarzan book, the 100 Years of Tarzan movies, I think it was. And I got to write the forward and I got to write some of my experiences as Tarzan. And that was a lot of fun. I had a couple other people that have read that, a couple of authors that have gone, hey, we should do something. And so maybe someday I'll do something with everything I got to do. But I did get to write a forward and that was all me. And I got to talk about what I went through, and so it was fun to write something, and to see, yeah, I got some stories to tell and some things to say. So yeah, eventually I would do it basically on movie business and what it's like to be an actor and everything like that. So it would be a lot of fun. I would do something like that. I haven't yet, but I would.
I mean, so many people know you from Starship Troopers. I'm sure you like get asked about that ad
Almost
infinitum
every day.
every day, and everybody wants to talk about that film. But there's got to be the one film that nobody asks you about that you want to talk about.
Well, I love talking about Starship Troopers. I love that because, people will yell at me. I'll just be at the street and they'll just yell some Starship Troopers quote, but they do it with such an enthusiasm and so much excitement. So it's infectious. It makes me happy. If they were yelling profanity at me and like, get out of here and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't like it. But they yell with such joy and bliss that it only makes me happier. So Starship Troopers is one that I will forever be just so grateful for. And I love the attention and like even my wife, she bought me this Funko Pop tanker bug because she had bought me the Johnny Rico one. They just came out with these last year. So, even they still do things like that. And I get these things and I'm like, she bought me this Johnny Rico, Rico's Roughnecks coffee mug that I love going around with. So, I mean, I absolutely love it. But Tarzan's one of my favorites, but people do ask me about it because there's a huge fan base for Tarzan. And it's one of my favorite characters ever been. And also the Johnny Cage, I did a web series called Mortal Kombat, and I got to play Johnny Cage in it. And that was a lot of fun too. So those are probably three of my favorite. But as far as, I did this movie called The Warrant that's a Western out right now. And I got to play an interesting character in that one. And what he went through with the loss that he went through and what it made him become was a lot of fun to play too.
Well, you're quite the accomplished horseback rider, aren't you?
I used to be. I'm no longer anymore, but I mean, I used to ride horses a lot. I used to do that a lot. But I would still. I mean, I love horses. I mean, they're beautiful, and I love.
Didn't your ex-father-in-law gift you a horse? Is that a true story?
He did many years ago. And
we're for people who don't know, we're talking about Robert Mitchum.
Yeah.
So tell us that story. And were you very surprised when he like said, here's a horse?
Well, yeah, just the fact that he offered me that was just very generous, and I had that horse for a couple of years, and I lost it in divorce. But I did love that horse, and I love riding. So it was a gift, and I got to ride in. And do my own horse stunts in Sleepy Hollow and in one called Aces and Eights that I got to do, a Western that was written by the same guy that wrote Pale Rider, and it was supposed to be a Clint Eastwood movie, but it got shelved, and I got to play it years later. And then I also got to do it in Outer Limits, where I played a cowboy with Esai Morales. And
I know that episode. That was cool.
Yeah, the sci-fi. Oh yeah, well that was Heart's Desire is what it's called, and that was a lot of fun to do. We got to ride on our horses and just do that. That was one of my favorite shows I've ever done. That character in that role, I wish we could have done a movie off of that one. I just thought such a cool concept, and it was interesting because on that one we were supposed to Gary Basaroglis and I were supposed to go up and see our father at one point in time, and in it all of a sudden. We were just supposed to ride over to see him, and all of a sudden it snowed. And they're like, "Oh no, we don't know. It's not going to match." And I don't know who said it, either Gary or I. We said we should just say that we're going up in the mountain to see Pa. And so we just changed one line, and we went up there, and it was like we went up into the mountain into the snow to see our dad, and then we could come back because it would have messed up the whole show, just not doing that. But it looked so much cooler. So we had all this production value on that one episode that was kind of surreal because we shot it in Vancouver.
Nice. I could talk to you forever, Casper, but I think you have somewhere to go. People to see.
People to talk to. It was great to talk to you, and I'm glad you were able to get in on this. I'm glad they said Rob wants to do it. I'm like, oh my God! So I'm grateful that it's great to talk to you again.
I know. I used my clout. I said, tell Casper it's me.
They said, Robin said, and I go, yes, I know her. And they're like, yeah, well, would you do it? I go, absolutely. I'm like, so, but I'm grateful that you still want to do it.
Oh, are you kidding? Absolutely. So anything in this crazy time that you've been doing differently?
My wife and I, we before this happened, we moved near my mom and dad because my dad's older now. So we moved down here to Florida to be near them, and we're helping take care of them. So that happened just before the pandemic, which lucked out because they don't have to be here with them. So we go visit with them, and I walk my dog every day, run with him. My wife and I do that. So we're doing that. So I've been working out every day, training, reading, writing a little bit. Maybe I should write a book because my friend Robin said I should. So we'll see. But I've been actually, like I said, I had another movie that I did promotion for called G-Lock that came out with, with Stephen Moyer and John Rhys Davies. I have that just came out, and then I have a Western called The Warrant that I did with Stephen R. McQueen and Neil McDonough, and that one just came out. So I've been doing press for all these different things, and with all these great actors that I love, and I'm proud of it. So I've gotten to do a lot of interviews, which has been fun for me because I get to talk to people who love movies and shows just as much as I do. So, I've been watching a lot of TV, watching a lot of movies. I've watched every Western and some of them twice because I really love the entertainment industry. And so any chance if I wasn't being an actor, I'd want to interview people talking about it because I love it so much. I get so excited about it. So it's something that I think is, and it's something we need right now, anything to escape out of the monotony and the insanity that's going on right now.
Please don't tell me you're going to do a podcast. I don't want
No.
to.
I'm still acting. I'm lucky. But if I wasn't an actor, I would want to. I'm not doing any podcasts. I'm not doing any cameo. I'm not doing any. I'm off of social media. I just don't. I don't like. I just want to study films and do TV shows and movies, read about them, write about them, and have a healthy life, and just do that and talk about them when people want to talk about them. That's all I want to do.
Perfect. Well, next time I see you, we're hugging it out.
All right. Definitely.
All right. Take good care. Much love and stay safe.
You too.
Okay. Bye, Casper.
Bye.
Thank you.
Always news. Always refreshing. Always candid. Always milling about. Robin Milling delivers what celebrities are saying to you.